ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुः उन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Welcome all of you for this seminar on stress to smile. There is a beautiful pocket book on this same topic. I have been preparing it since many years of my going to corporate circles and uh, giving them activity sheets and everything. And now the book is ready. What I will present here will be a very brief outline from the book, but you will learn more when you get a copy of the book. Modern day society, as you all know, is characterized by addiction to urgency. Why I use the word addiction? One man came from Bombay to Pune for a job. Within a week, he left the job and went back to Bombay. Why? He said, Pune is not as fast as Bombay. He says in Bombay, people take a suitcase and run fastly. In Dadar, the bridge, they board the heavily loaded trains. He said, when I came to Pune, I was worried whether I am working hard enough. So he went back. So people get addicted to urgency. And also, because modern day gadgets, when they became high speed gadgets, man's expectations also have shot up because of that. Due to which, uh, if some mistakes happen, the mistakes that happen by the machines are oftentimes attributed to the other men who handle the machines. And there can be interpersonal conflicts between people. Many people are losing their temper, losing their control, mainly because they have got irregular habits. They sleep late at night, they wake up late in the morning, they're eating junk food, they don't have clean habits, and eventually they become very restless in mind, hyperactive mind, ultimately resulting to this kind of erratic behaviors. And also life has become very, very fast. You can see many of the movies, the moving screen, how fastly the screen moves you see nowadays, correct? No? People have, life has become too fast paced and people want to do multiple things. And they also take up unrealistic targets, which cause them fear. Mm. Yeah, of course, you can always have a deadline when you do things, but unrealistic target means trying to do a lot of things in a very short period of time. And therefore, many people are working 16 hours or 18 hours also nowadays. And they make unhealthy competition and hatred between one another. All these things are stressors. People make comparisons. See, like when I went to Bangalore, one gentleman, his wife was crying that he doesn't have time for the home and time for God because he's got a Benz car. And he also has got a big 3 BHK house. So when I asked the gentleman, he said, you see, my friends are using Benz car. So if I don't use, then I will not be at equal status like them. Isn't it? And he has only one wife. He doesn't have children also, but he's living in a 3 BHK, very big house. Some 3 crores house. He says that that's because, you know, my friend circle are all very affluent people. They're born in rich families. They live in big houses. So many people make comparison nowadays, due to which they become envious. Long working days and job stress. See, stress is a silent killer, according to doctors. Little by little, it kills a person, crushes a person. See the right side picture, a person feels pushed by time. He is actually not enjoying the work. He is actually feeling very uncomfortable when he is doing the work. You see, Everybody has to work in this world, but there is a quality of your work also. Correct, no? Mm. But imagine you are pushed like this, you feel a sense of being pushed, then you get threat, you get fear, you get phobia. Huh? You can't sleep at night because anytime you'll get a phone call. Huh? So this, many of you, I believe you already know about it. Intelligence is at the top, and mind is below the intelligence, which means mind is supposed to follow the intelligence and senses follow the mind. Mm. So you get stimuli in all the senses, like you see something with the eyes. For example, if you see a snake, the stress is produced in the mind by looking at a snake. Why? Because you know that snakes bite, it can be fatal. Then the intelligence immediately tells you take a stick and beat it. When you took a stick and beat the snake and killed it, it's dead now. Then the stress in the mind is relieved. So that means mind gets into a excited state of stress whenever there is a problem for which mind has no solution. But after receiving solution from the intelligence and acting on that solution, and solution is implemented, the mind again returns back to its normal state. So therefore, the stress is something that is produced in the mind. Many people do not know this one fact, that stress is not an external thing, stress is an internal thing. Because the outside objects don't pressurize you. Your response to the outside objects. So stress is based on that. For example, say one of you gets a fail mark in a paper examination. You may get tremendous stress because you never failed for 2 years or 3 years. First time you're failing in a paper, you get stressed. Another boy is getting fail in 4 papers, he doesn't get stressed. In fact, he is smiling. At least he passed in 2 papers. Right. So therefore, it's not that the same thing produces same amount of stress in everybody. So stress is an internal response, to the external stimuli, which means if you can learn the art of giving an alternative response from within you, then there is a possibility that you can reduce the stress or avoid the stress. So that means you need to learn to give the right type of response. दुःखेष्वनुदिग्नमना सुखेषु विगतस्पृहः वीतरागभयक्रोधस्थितधीर्मुनिरुच्यते. Arjuna, dukkeshu anudignamana. Even in miserable situations, those who are self-realized people, they will be unagitated, he's saying. 3 boys committed suicide in one of the IITs, South. You know that, no? In 1 year only, 2019. Now, if you see why they committed suicide, one of them wrote that I am worried about the cutthroat competition of the world. And the academic pressures are very high. And for me, how long can I keep on proving myself? So another fellow felt insecurity of the future and everything. On the other hand, you can see Pandavas, what kind of situations they faced. Their wife was insulted. They were driven to jungle. They were put in a house of lac and assassination attempt was made. Bhima was fed with poison. Did they even think of suicide? You can see that, which means the stimuli was enormous, external stimuli, but the internal response was very mature. So, if you want to give a mature response like Pandavas gave, instead of the IIT boys who gave an immature response by committing suicide and becoming ghost. So, therefore, one should find out what are the ways by which we can change our inner response mechanism. That is what stress management is all about. You can see this movie very carefully. It's a short clip. If you change your thoughts, you can change your world. Watch this. The sound is not coming. Okay. What did you learn? Anybody? Give the mic to them. Anybody raise his hand, mic will come to you. Somebody want to give a try.
Prabhuji, actually the problem is small, but we tend to make it big.
Okay, thank you. Let's hear more answers. Yeah. We can give Varun Pawar, let others answer. 16 rounders, anyway, you know a lot of things. You should give chance to other boys to answer. Anybody else want to try? And there's one hand up. Now mic is coming to you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. The problem is big, but if you look at in different way, it will solve very easily.
He's saying, look at the same problem from a different angle, he's saying. So you can tell me a little bit more about what is the different angle? Here in this case, what was the problem? Give the mic to him. Yes.
Actually, he is fighting with that
The bug.
bug.
Okay.
But actually, he is looking like they are a part of the some flower.
Yeah.
Then the problem goes very smoothly.
Because in nature, for the bugs to live in the nature is natural. So you exist yourself and let them exist, and life can go on. You don't have to try to destroy them. You will have this experience with bed bug also. When bed bug, you try to remove the bed bug, more you kill them, they multiply. They increase in big number like that. On the other hand, it's creating too much disturbance. You just catch and keep in your hand for some time, and you leave it, it will fly out of the window. But when you try to take action, you can see that. So in our lives also, many of us, we make a small problem into a big problem by complicating it because of overdoing the solution. So Lord Krishna says in 2.14 Bhagavad Gita that certain problems is better for you to tolerate. He says, if you learn to tolerate it, the problem will stay for a while and it will go away. But if you are going to make a big hue and cry for a small problem, then the small problem becomes a bigger problem. So in his case, how it became bigger problem, you saw that? One he cut into two, then they multiply, and then at that time, did you see him becoming stressed? He lost his hope. He lost his hope, and then he was like putting the bow down, putting the sword down. He couldn't do anything. Can any of you give an example where the problem was small, but you ended up complicating it and it became big. Later on, you lamented, I need not have complicated it so much. Later on, you realized it was such a chota thing, small thing. I said something, did something, and it became very big. I have a story, but if anybody has, he spoke already. I think if somebody else, there is one hand up. Give him quickly. Mike should pass very quick.
प्रभु जी मैं हिंदी में बोलूँगा।
हाँ, बोल सकते हैं।
प्रभु जी मेरा स्कूल चालू था, हाँ, तो एग्ज़ाम्स चालू थे। तो मेरा भाई उसके एग्ज़ाम दूसरे रूम में हो रहे थे, मतलब मेरे से बड़े स्टैंडर्ड में। तो मेरा एग्ज़ाम ख़त्म हो गया था, ब्रेक टाइम था। तो मैं अपने भाई के पास जा रहा था, मतलब टाइम पास करने। तो फिर वहाँ पे गया, तो वहाँ पे मतलब बॉयज़ खड़े थे, मतलब सब लोग कॉरिडोर में थे। तो किसी को मेरे तरफ से धक्का लग गया, उसने भी धक्का दिया, फिर थोड़ा और धक्का दिया। उस समय मैं सॉरी बोलने के बजाय मतलब फाइटिंग कर चुका। तो फाइटिंग इतनी बड़ी हो गई कि 2 क्लास मिल गए। मैम मैम हमारा ही नाम लगा दिए। मैम हमारा ही नाम लगा दिए कि तुम क्यों आए यहाँ पे, मतलब तुम्हारा क्लास नीचे है, तो टाइम में रहना था। तो 2 क्लास जब फाइटिंग कर रही थी कॉरिडोर में, मैम बीच में आ गए थे। मैम मेरा हाथ पकड़े हुए थे और मैम को दूसरे बच्चे लोग हाथ हिला रहे थे, मतलब मैम को लगा। फिर मैम ने मेरा नाम लगाया कि मैंने मैम को मार दिया।
ओह अच्छा। और भी कॉम्प्लिकेट हो गया।
फिर उसके बाद मैडम मिस के पास गए, मतलब हमारे प्रिंसिपल के पास गए। प्रिंसिपल के बाद मॉम के पास गए, मतलब मॉम पेरेंट्स को स्कूल में बुलाया। फिर उससे बड़ा होते गया।
तो मैम से मॉम को चला गया। अच्छा, हाँ, अच्छा, बढ़िया एग्जाम्पल। हरी बोल, विल कॉल हिम। You want special person? Yeah, come. There's one special gift for you. That's a very fitting example. Huh? How a small problem became big problem. Very good realization. Haribo. What's your good name?
कमल।
Kamal is his name. Very good. One more devotee gave answer. Where is it? You come. One of you gave answer here. आपने दिया? आइए. Two of them gave answer. So very brilliant example, isn't it? How Haribo. So small problem can become a very big problem. It's called as making a mole into a mountain. Now we can take a small thing and complicate it more and more. If you are careless, many times we lose friendships because of unnecessarily cooking up things, making bigger things. This fellow also, it was a small, fly making sound. You could have just caught it and kept it and just sit peacefully. And the fly will be thinking of a way to come out. And then open your fingers, it will just go out of the window. Instead, it's like bringing a machine gun for a mosquito, as we say. Isn't it? Imagine you brought a machine gun, and then mosquito flew away out of the window and 4 devotees died. And people ask you, what happened? You say, sorry, I just wanted to kill the mosquito. And you neither kill the mosquito and you caused a big, great harm to others, you see. So many times we make small problem into a big problem subsequently. So here is the mechanism of the stress, how it is created in the mind. You see this. First, the stimuli comes on the senses, then to the mind. For example, you're sitting in your house, suddenly you hear a sound. Like that, you hear the sound. Then the senses are heard by the ears and goes to the mind. Immediately, what does the mind feel? As soon as you hear a loud sound, mind feels fear. What is that? Is somebody throwing bomb in my house? Or is my house going to collapse? Like that you feel fear. Then the mind is consulting intelligence. Then the intelligence says, I don't know what is the sound. It's unknown. And when it is unknown, it produces stress. Stress is generated, you see. And when it is known, say for example, you heard the sound. Immediately you peep out of the window to see why the sound came. Then you see one fellow was driving a scooter and the tire bursted. Like that. And the fellow got off the scooter, now he's towing the scooter. So that turned into an amusement for you. What was thought of to be a bomb blast, now it was only a tire blast. Then you have no more fear. Then the mind becomes no stress. Because mind knows, intelligence tells the mind, don't worry, nothing serious. It's just a tire burst. There's no stress. But it's unknown, there will be stress. And then if there's some corrective action can be taken, then the stress can be avoided. Like here you see. This is what I told you the example. Okay, here read this, one of you, take the mic. Read the problem. Your subordinate doesn't wish you good morning one day, okay? And you are enraged. So now you have to tell me two answers. One answer is perceived threat and real threat. Perceived threat, like, when madam caught his hand, people thought he slapped the madam or something like that. Huh? So it was a perceived threat, but actually it was an imagined threat. There was no threat there. Correct, no? Like, you are walking in the dark and you find something like a snake. You cry. And you put on the light, it's only a rope. So it's called perceived threat. It's not real threat, correct, no? But you thought, I want to put my towel. Is there some rope available? So you picked up one rope and then you find, it's coming like this. That's what? Snake. That's real threat. Snake is real threat, but rope is perceived threat. Similarly, somebody doesn't wish you good morning, say your friend or somebody. You're enraged. See? Because his son met with an accident that very morning and he was very disturbed in the mind. So he was sitting in a morose manner thinking of his son. So you came in the office but he didn't see you. Because his thought is absorbed in that son's scooter accident or something. So not that he doesn't respect you. He respects you, but at that time he was not in a proper state of mind, so he didn't respect you. So is it perceived threat or real threat? Perceived threat. Real threat means what? He looked at you, whether he turned his face. Because yesterday's meeting you said something, he's unhappy with you. Now he doesn't want to even look at you, turns his face. That is real threat because it's real threat to relationship. Correct, no? So we should worry about real threats or perceived threats. But most often we have perceived threats. For example, modern day situations are all very, very uncertain. So you join a job, and the job, people tell you that we will recruit you in March, but we will call you only in November. So here there is some threat for you. What is the threat? By the time November comes, what will you do with these 6 months? Now you finish your exam in April, May, and they're calling you in November. So you are wondering, November, will they tell me to go home or they'll give me the job? How many of you will fear like that? Because it's very late now. Why are they calling me so late? That fear comes. Correct, no? And also you have joined the company, they keep you on bench, they call it. You know that? So bench means they don't give you any project. That means they're preparing your mind. That be ready to quit. Correct, no? There's always fear. So again, that is also, there's a threat possible for you. So job situations are all nowadays very, very scary because COVID time, many people were laid off. Big number of people were laid off. Some companies came from 900 crores to 300 crores in America. So they're laying off people. So when you hear this company laid off, that company laid off, lakhs of people, that causes also some fear. I'm in a good job, I may be laid off and things like that. Marriage also nowadays, marriage situations, if the home situation is not good, husband, wife don't have strong trust. They quarrel, they have interpersonal clashes and all, then there's a fear that we may get separated. So you find that in modern times, generally the stress arises due to uncertainty. Uncertainty. You don't know what's going to happen. Because the mind is under stress and the intelligence is not able to provide an answer. That's a problem. Yeah, please read it quickly. What happens when stress is generated? Read it. Where's the mic?
What happens when stress is generated? Adrenaline is generated to take a fight or flight action as a way to overcome a perceived threat for survival.
See, what is this fight or flight? When we were small school boys, one time a big pig came, pig, to our compound, huge pig with some dozen piglets. So, and we all, some of my friends, we took a stick and we ran behind the pig, and the pig was running. We had a long lane, about 15 houses, and then there was a garden, and beyond the garden, there's a dead end. The pig was running, we ran behind, all the piglets were running, we're just making fun. And after it, the pig was afraid, these boys are going to beat me or something. So he was doing flight, running away. But after reaching the dead end, he found there's no way to go. Now the pig took a U-turn and showed the teeth to like that, showed the teeth. Now we got frightened. We were running away. And the pig was chasing after us. So we all ran into our homes after that. So initially he was doing flight, then he did fight. So when you are fearful, adrenaline is produced. When you are violent, adrenaline is produced. Similarly, you are cutting a goat. You keep a goat under control and take a knife, and when you lift it up, the goat is afraid. Goat is trying to escape this way, that way. But this goat is not able to escape. Then the goat will show the teeth, like that, because it becomes vigorous, violent. So, but when you are cutting the goat at that time, lot of adrenaline secretion in his body due to fear and violence. So, fear is in which guna? Anybody knows? Rajaguna, Tamaguna, Sataguna? Ignorance, Samaguna. And violence is in Rajaguna. So, Rajaguna, Tamaguna, both are causing the adrenaline to secrete. So, when you eat the flesh of that goat, then you also get a lot of adrenaline into your system. That is how people who are meat eaters get into this fight-flight mode. Tamaguna, Rajaguna mode. Then Tamaguna causes many things like depression, loneliness, indecision, and insecurity, and also fear of the future and hopelessness, failure. All these things come in Tamaguna and depression. And in Rajaguna, cutthroat competition, over ambition, unhealthy comparisons, greed, arrogance, harshness, all those things come in Rajaguna like that. So she's fearing. You're saying that? Huh? This fear, this leads to adrenaline secretion, this type of fear. Okay, how do you react? Are you a reactor or a overreactor? You can check. See, this fellow is reacting or overreacting? Correct. Huh? So she was fearful and this fellow is violent. Both these things cause adrenaline secretion. See, when you're driving car in a rush hour, there is tension also. See, last minute work assignment, if you get, this is how you feel. How many of you don't like last minute work assignment? You don't like last minute? Correct, no? Yeah. You feel stress. You've misplaced something in the house. You're searching. You're in great tension. That also causes internal stress. Especially if you're going for examination, you made some sutras, very nice bullet points, and you wanted to see them just before entering the hall. And that's what you missed it. You don't know where you kept it. Then you get tension, correct, no? Dealing with incompetent fellow at work. See, who is suffering in this? Boss or the subordinate? Both are suffering. Both are suffering. Boss is suffering because he is yelling. Subordinate is suffering because he is being troubled. Both are feeling stress. Planning your budget. He's depressed fellow, see? Yeah. The curve is going down. So he's overreacting to the situation. Being blamed for something. Oh, this is a very painful thing for many people. Actually, if somebody is blamed, they don't ask how I can improve or please tell me what I can do. They get stressed when they're blamed. Anger is natural response to these perceived threats. He's becoming angry. And when people see, this is a response to the perceived threats. Threats are perceived, but these people become overly angry. They cannot control themselves. Therefore, see, what is a saintly person or a selfless person? He can see what is perceived threat and what is real threat. He knows the difference between the two. And once you know the real threat, he will take action. Once you know it is perceived threat, he will just ignore it. Like for example, once Buddha was insulted by one man very badly, loudly was yelling, shouting. Buddha was smiling and was listening very attentively. And along with Buddha, his associates, some of them became angry. And they got on the case of that man. Hey, how can you say such things about our Buddha? Buddha said, wait a minute. If you pick up quarrel with him, you don't get chance to know your deficiencies. He's giving some feedback. Let us note down and let us improve. But if there is no element of truth in what he is speaking, we can ignore it. But if there is an element of truth, then we can implement something in our life and become a better individual. And he allowed him to speak. So he spoke for some 10, 15 minutes and he got very tired after shouting a lot. And that fellow started crying. And Buddha asked, what happened to you? The man said, see, I'm surprised. I yelled at you and wanted you to cry, but I am crying. Why is it? So and Buddha said a very simple thing. See, if you give some gift to somebody and they refuse to accept the gift, what do? You keep it with you. So you gave me something which I refused to accept, so you kept it with you, therefore you are crying. Huh? Whatever you scolded me, that scolding came on you only. Therefore you are crying. That means, Buddha understood that this is only perceived threat. There is no real threat. He is just cooking up things out of envy. He just ignored it. Like we say, the dogs bark on the caravan, goes on. Like one time there was an elephant walking in this side. There was a river in between. And dog was also walking. Bow, bow. Dog was barking like this. You would see the elephant and he would put his tail between the two legs and you'll be afraid. Pow! Because he was seeing a huge animal now. He was very small. He was feeling insecure. And the elephant was very coolly, nodding the head with the trunk and walking like this. And there was a bridge. And when the elephant crossed the bridge, now the dog became very fearful because he's going to come to this side. The dog ran ahead. But although he ran ahead, again and again he would look behind and bark at the elephant. And then he would run like this. And the elephant didn't bother at all. He was just nodding his head and ringing the bell and walking coolly. This is the meaning of, dog barks and the caravan goes on. Actually, most people in this world who become envious of you, insecure with you, they try to create trouble for you. They are all perceived threats for you. They can't do anything to you. No one can make or mar your career because everything is done under the supervision of Krishna, Lord, Supreme Lord, watching from above. Nobody can surpass his will. But if something is happening to you, that also could be your own prarabdha karma from the past. It's happening. Nobody can hurt you without God giving them the sanction to hurt you. So many of the threats we experience in life are imagined threats. And some people have seen, this ghost movies and all. When they're lying down in the night, suddenly in the window they see a skeleton, like that, laughing or something. These are imagined things. Many things they imagine. So therefore, at least make sure you don't give unwanted inputs into your system. Make sure you give pure inputs henceforth, at whatever time you understand. See, we feel stressed in 5 situations. Easy to remember formula. CEO, IF. Which means if I am a CEO, CEO, IF. You remember. C for control. E for expectations. O for opinions. I for when you are insulted. F for frustrated. CEO, IF. When you want to control, it is not like Hiranyakashipu wanted to control one 5-year-old boy. He could control the whole world, but this 5-year-old boy he couldn't control. Who was it? So he got completely stressed. Again and again he tried to control him. Finally he was destroyed completely. He was killed also because of such trying to deal with this boy. Just like this fly, we saw, Prahlad was like that fly. And Hiranyakashipu was trying to control him and taking the sword. Finally, you see, of course, in that story, the man got cooled down, but Hiranyakashipu never cooled down. Hiranyakashipu was very vicious. Similarly, when your expectations are frustrated, you get stressed. Sometimes we may have unrealistic expectations. Everybody should love me. Everybody should respect me. I should never commit a mistake. I am always smart. And everybody should know what I want, even without my telling them. These kind of expectations. So those expectations may not be met many times. Then we are frustrated. Actually, we have mutual expectations. Sons have expectations from parents. Parents have expectations from sons. After marriage, husband has expectations from wife. Wife has expectations from husband also. So therefore the frustrations come. Like, one man told his wife, if one day you were fair, I would be more happy. Look at your pigment of your skin, you look black. That's my problem. Husband said. Wife said, If only you were a little tall, I would be more happy. You look like a brinjal. And the man became wild. He said, what? You called me a brinjal? She said, you are calling me black, so I called you a brinjal. What's the problem? See, scriptures say that husband and wife should accept that the spouse is a gift of God. If a man thinks my wife is a gift of God for me, then he can accept and live peacefully. But if he's going to find fault with her, she find fault with him, will it be a happy family? It will be a miserable family. So similarly, many of us have also many expectations. One time in my school days, our madam told us to write down a list of the qualities that we expect in our friends. So some of us wrote 15 qualities, some of us wrote 20, you know. Then she told, we went to give her. She said, no, keep it with you. You encircle those qualities which you possess out of this. So we wrote 20 qualities, only 4 or 5 you are possessing. Huh? Then she said, is it justice? You possess 5 qualities and you expect 20 from your friend. Is it not unrealistic? You agree? That means many times we don't fulfill our friend's expectation, but we have big expectations. You agree? Therefore, we are frustrated. You see, when our opinions are not accepted, oh, this is a very big thing. How can I reject my opinion? Huh? People feel that opinions are very important and they are very proud of their opinions. So, but they don't listen to others' opinions. God has given you how many ears? How many mouths? That means hear 2 opinions and express 1 opinion. You can only say that means we should be willing to listen first, understand before we express ourselves. Hmm. But many times you will see people don't listen to others. They want to push their opinion on others. So, and therefore, when our opinions are not accepted, we get stressed. There was one boy from Pune. He studied in here only, Sinhagad College. He did MBA. In those days, he went to Bangalore for an interview. Very cool boy, very nice devotee boy, living in our student center. And he went for an interview. 3 IIMs had come, and 2 boys from average college. He was one from the average college. So as soon as he saw them, he thought, oh, there is only one job. 5 people have come for a GD. Maybe one of the IIMs will get, he thought. But the moment the GD started, all the IIM boys started jumping and giving their opinions. They thought that if we speak aloud and present our opinions, probably we will be taken seriously. You will be thought of to be a smart fellow, correct? No, bold fellow, courageous fellow, smart fellow, people with a lot of knowledge and everything. But this boy just kept quiet. He was listening. When they were speaking, he was noting down everything. So those 3 fellows are practically making noise continuously. And the other fellow was keeping mum, he didn't know much. So then this boy, he told him to speak also. You also speak. Then he spoke a little bit. Then he told them, see, hey, you said this. I like this point. You said this. I liked it. You said this. He said that. I like all of your points. I would like to express my point also. And then he gave a synthesized idea how the best points from each of you I have taken together. If we combine this would be the best thing. And many of them nodded their head. They said, yeah, it's a smart thing. What you said is very nice. And he got selected for the job. And his boss told him, I was actually looking for someone like you who is smart enough to be patient, to listen to different people's opinions and then combine them and arrive at a very balanced decision. But these fellows were coming from a good institute. Only thing is they were very impatient, he said. So therefore, we should listen to opinions. And when we feel someone has insulted us, that is also immediately a current goes to our spine or head. How can someone insult me? We become very irritated or alarmed. We feel very stressed. So how do we behave when somebody insults you? One time, I heard about Gandhi. Gandhi used to dress in a very simple manner. You all know, correct? No? Just a dhoti and no kurta also, with the spectacles. One British fellow was very envious. He drew some drawings of Gandhi and put a pin, and then he came down the ship deck and gave it to Gandhi and said, I'm giving you something valuable, okay? Keep it with you. And he went up and he was watching from there. And then Gandhi didn't do anything. He just sat down peacefully. And the man came down after a few minutes and said, where are those papers I gave you? Actually, he wanted to incite Gandhi to become angry. And Gandhi said, you want those papers? He said, the dustbin he showed, go there. So, of course, the man went to the dustbin, he saw the papers. He got very angry now. He got wild. Then he asked Gandhi, I told you these are valuable things. Why didn't you keep it with you? Gandhi opened his purse and showed the pin. This was valuable. I kept it, he said. Valuable thing I kept. Other thing you ridiculed to me, I put it in dustbin. So he knew what to take and what to leave. But we take that one and leave the important thing. We may take the papers and throw the pin in the dustbin. And we may take it, oh, he's joking about me, and you may cry, you may fight with him, become angry, make a big issue about it. So therefore, what is the Siddha Prajna in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna talks about? If someone is affectionate to you, if someone insults you, how does the Siddha Prajna behave? Siddha Prajna behaves normally. He doesn't become agitated. He doesn't jump like a monkey when he gets success. He doesn't get psychosomatic depression when he gets failure. In India, Pakistan match, when India won, these people, Indian youths, they made a chariot and they put Krishna on the chariot like Krishna Arjuna. In Arjuna's place, they put Sachin Tendulkar. Arjuna was carrying bow and arrow, Sachin was carrying cricket bat. And they put lot of flowers and garland and big music, celebrated. Next year, India lost the match. Pakistan won the match. What do you think these boys did? They made a effigy of all the Indian cricket team members and they burned it. Previous year they celebrated them. Now they are burning them. Don't you think the minds of these people is like monkey? Correct? The extremes, going to extremes. Huh? Think about it. That means uncontrolled mind. Correct now? And when we feel frustrated due to inability, see, you should try your best. And after that, you should be peaceful. You have done your part. You shouldn't be frustrated. For example, if you take a Luna and a Maruti and a Benz, if you keep a competition from between the three from Pune to Lonavala, which will come first? Which will come first? Benz. Which will come second? Maruti. Which will come third? Luna. Even if you press the accelerator in Luna, like that, makes a lot of noise. Still, Luna has its limit. Maruti has its limit. Similarly, each of us, our bodies are like a particular model car or a particular model two-wheeler. And I'm not telling you from Bhagavad Gita alone. You will see even there are institutes which will tell you, you try for IIT JEE, correct, no? And some of them will tell you, don't try IIT JEE, forget it. You try for the local college, what do you call it, CET, yeah? What do you call it? Yeah, MSCET. You try for MSCET. They tell you because they will test your potential, what potential you have. Do you think they're discouraging you? Is it discouragement? They are actually telling you what you are good at. You are good at this, you do this. Somebody is good at this, let them do that. Because everybody's body is like a particular model car. So in case you cannot do IIT JEE exam, you are doing this, should you get frustrated? So you are acting according to the best of your potential. So therefore in Gita, Lord Krishna says, do your best, he says. He doesn't say do the best. If I say do the best, I have to tell all of you, hey, everybody jump and touch the ceiling. That is the best. But if I tell all of you, everybody jump as much as you can, that is your best. And each of you will jump to different heights according to your best. Correct, no? So Krishna says, which one? First one or second one? Second one. He says, do your best. Example is Jatayu. He did his best in trying to fight with Ravana. Jatayu thought, hey, Ravana is picking Sita to take her in the skyway at a very auspicious muhurtam. In this muhurtam, if somebody starts a work, that work will succeed. So Jatayu had only one goal. I should resist him from taking Sita at this muhurta and I want to delay the muhurta. If I delay the muhurta from this to the next muhurta is a bad muhurta. I will delay it and push it to the next muhurta time so that if he takes Sita, he will be destroyed and Sita will be saved. And that is what was his goal. He knew that I can't win over Ravana. Ravana cut off his one wing, cut off the second wing. Still he valiantly fought. He tore off the kavacha of Ravana. Huh? He killed the horse also. Everything he did. By the time Ravana looked at his watch, he understood the Murtha is gone already. But he couldn't do anything. But who is successful in terms of delaying Ravana? Who is successful? Jatayu. And in terms of material success, who is successful? Ravana. But Jatayu was told by Ram that evening itself, he said, this evening I'll send you to Vaikuntha. So his life is success. Because he did his best, therefore he was sent to Vaikuntha. Ram didn't say, you didn't do the best, you did your best. And Ram also told Squirrel, you did your best. So he appreciated Squirrel also. So you do your best instead of getting frustrated. Yeah, all these five things are explained here. We want to be in control of money without any, and people also. See, we want to float in money and we want to control the whole world. We want to crush the people, you see. Huh? We want to boss our people without any interference. Huh? That's the nature of conditioned souls. When you try to control others, they will not leave you off, they will pull your leg. Huh? When I want to control, but I faced failure, then you guys get stress. You see, huh? Like this, like one girl in South India, she got 93% in 12th standard and she failed in NEET exam. She cried like this and committed suicide also. So because they think that, see this fellow, it's not happening as per my opinion. See here, how he's frustrated. Huh? Some people get extremely frustrated and they throw tantrums on others. Correct, no? So when you insist and demand or command that things should happen my way only, it doesn't happen. Then you get stressed. See, dear devotees, if you remember these five things, when you face the situations, you face them with a cool head. Then stress will be gone. You will see that. Okay, what should you do in this case? Should you respect only your opinion or you should also respect others' opinion? Yeah, learn to respect others' opinion. Lord Ram is respecting opinion of all the Vanaras before giving his opinion. Learn from Ram. Then your stress will be gone by that. Similarly, earlier expectations, if you have too many expectations, think about others. I have expectations. Like nowadays, boys are watching all these Hollywood, Bollywood movies and all, due to which, they are expecting that the girl whom they will marry should be like a Bollywood actress or Hollywood actress. Can your parents get you one like that? And imagine if she wants a James Bond from you. You should ask that. If I want a Hollywood actress, am I a James Bond? If you are not James Bond, how many of you agree that it is unrealistic to expect a girl who will be like Hollywood actress? Honestly, tell me. You agree now? So you don't have that type of beauty, then why do you expect your spouse to be like that? This nobody will think like this. So this is the reason why families are separating now. They're frustrated because of unrealistic expectations. Yeah. When somebody treats you unfairly or rudely or you're neglected or insulted, this fellow insecure fellow, you can look at his face. He's trying to prove I am great. He's incompetent. He's insecure. So if you're denied something or you're frustrated in your desires, you feel, ignored, insulted, not cared for. You're denied something. Okay, if you're denied something, what should you think? Okay, next time I will try. This time forget it. Similarly, if sometimes you got cheated. Next time you should be careful not to get cheated again. See, from mistakes we can always learn a good lesson. And can you commit mistake again? Yes, you can commit new one, not the same one. But learn from your mistakes and grow out of mistakes. Don't get frustrated. Like one time a boy came back from the exam and said, hey, how was the paper? Asked his friends. Everybody said, very nice. So this boy said, all the 4 questions, he said, I wrote perfectly. I'm expecting a centum, he said. Boy said, 4? There were 6 questions, they said. 6? So he came back and they showed him the next side page. And 2 more questions were there. My Lord, he got frustrated. He said, I never turned the paper. I only answered the first page. I thought, this is it. They have not put PTO. I didn't see that. So he cried like anything. That whole night he could not sleep because he was very good in the subject. And the next page 2 questions were also known to him, but he didn't write. Now he was so frustrated, he went to 2 dozen boys and told them, See, I know the answers, yeah. Like I couldn't write this. Now, can you tell me whether the teacher will give me the paper again back? I can add. Will they allow? Certain things in life cannot be brought back. It is said, no, spilt milk, broken glass, sped arrow, spoken words can never be taken back. Cannot be brought back. If an arrow has gone out of the arrow bow, you cannot bring it back. If a glass is broken, forget it. Milk has spilled, forget it. Words have gone out of your tongue, you can't take it back. Probably can repent later, but you can't take it back. Similarly, paper is submitted in the exam, you can't get it back now. Write again. Correct now? So what do? You have two choices. Either keep on weeping night after night, go to another 3 dozen boys and vent out your frustration, make them also frustrated. Or forget about what happened now. Go look ahead in life. So what cannot be cured must be endured, it is said. What cannot be cured must be endured. Accept it as a fact of life. Okay, next time I'll be careful. I'll never do exam paper seeing only one side. I'll always see both sides. Make sure. Learn some lessons and go ahead in life. Don't get stuck in life. If you are worrying about it, worry may bury you, it is said. You will get buried in life. You will never progress if you are going to keep on worrying. See here. These people are examples of people who are unable to tolerate something that happened in their life. The below fellow who is punching, so he became angry with somebody and he is unable to restrain his mind. Similarly, the top fellow also is very frustrated. You can see his teeth and everything. Yeah. Frustration arises due to our refusal to accept the inevitable. We are not independent in achieving success. We are co-workers with God. This is a very important phenomenon. Like Arjuna is a co-worker with Krishna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. We sow the seed, God gives the rains. You give the interview, panel has to choose you. You write the exam, invigilator has to give marks to you. Correct, no? So ultimately, there are two people involved in everything in life. You are not alone. You are not independent. You should remember that. I was speaking this in Massachusetts, in MIT, USA. One boy in the last row, he got up and said, I don't agree with this, he said. I asked why. He said, see, when I graduate from the college, I am planning to become an entrepreneur. And I will start a company. I will have 5,000 people working with me. And he said, I will not depend on anybody. He said, you are saying we are all co-workers. I am not a co-worker with anybody. I am independent, he said. Then I told him, what if some of these people go on strike? Your company will be closed down. Your success will go down. Your profits. So what do you think? Don't you need them? Then he thought, he said, oh, that's a good point. He said, I never thought about it. I thought co-worker means always somebody is above me, I have to work with him. Then he said, now I understand I have to work with people below me also. You need to work with people below you, above you, all equal to you and all. So don't get frustrated when inevitability comes in your life. So this is a summary, you see. You feel stressed. So without seeing the screen, let us see how many of you can say. C for control. E, O, I, F. Remember this. CEO if formula. This is how the stress arises in our system. These are all perceived threats, not real threats at all. 90% of the fears we hold are perceived. How many of you know schizophrenia? You heard about it? Schizophrenia is a psychological disease. Psychiatrists deal with that patients. Schizophrenia means there is a group of people in your company or college. They are all in a group speaking something and they're laughing. And you think that they're laughing about whom? About me only. And they're talking, you think, I think they're all talking about me. They are going to do something to me. And you fear. So what threat is it? Perceived threat. Actually, if you go to them and ask, they will say, we don't even know who this fellow is. They are talking about something else. This fellow is simply imagining. So perceived threat means imagined threat. So most stress comes from perceived threat. So many times you have an imagination of what is standard and what do people expect, and I am not up to the mark and people won't respect me. I am insignificant, I am small. So you feel insecurity. Many of the things are imagined. Modern day society creates more and more problems, especially because of the social media. In Facebook, people put some you know picture, and then they expect many likes to come. Some people put like, some people put dislike. They put this, isn't it? So you feel that based on that, people estimate whether how many people are with me, how many are not with me. So it causes a lot of imagined stress, problem due to imagination. So our conditionings have to be changed in our mind. That's the only solution to that. I told you about ego principle. Take good things in. Mind is like a book. Every day we are filling up the book, my mind book with our thought, word, and deed. With that, we are filling it up every day from morning to night. We are filling up our day with positive thoughts or negative thoughts or necessary thoughts or wasteful thoughts. Out of these, two are important. Which two? See, positive thought, and necessary thoughts. These two we should keep it. And this negative thought and wasteful thoughts. These two we have to reject. And how do you sort them out? When you chant Hare Krishna, you can pick up the positive thoughts and necessary thoughts. And you will get the willpower to reject these thoughts. This you can reject. Because chanting builds determination. With determination, you can say no to wrong things and yes to right things. Yeah. Intelligence is like the driver, mind is the ropes, and the horses are like the senses. So, how do you control the senses? By controlling the mind. How do you control the mind? By controlling intelligence. How do you make the driver stout and strong? Anybody knows? By studying scriptures. By studying scriptures. Because scriptures teach you what is right, what is wrong, what to do, what not. Your intelligence becomes strong by that. Hmm? And the soul will be happy depending on how intelligence controls the mind and senses. Hmm. Actually, stress management means making mind your servant. Not you become servant of mind. You don't become slave of mind. For example, many of you sitting here, I'm sure you are not smoking cigarette. But you know friends who smoke cigarette, correct? No? Huh? So you will see them eventually becoming slave of cigarettes. That's called, what do you call the chain smoker, you call it. Similarly, somebody began with quarter or half, bottle liquor. Huh? Gradually, they started taking one, two. Eventually, when they become a slave of liquor, what do you call them? Huh? Alcoholic. Alcoholic, you call them. So we have chain smokers. You have alcoholic. Similarly, somebody started with little bit of drug. Some friends gave him, he tasted it. He got a kick. He wants a little more. Then he spends more money. And then he gets a little more. And then this way, gradually, he started taking more and more drugs. Now he can't live without drugs. Drugs have become integral part of his life. And he is hurting the body also. And he can't give it up also. What do you call him as? Drug addict, you call it. So that means addict, alcoholic, chain smoker. That means these are all people slaves to certain bad habits. That means they become a slave to their mind. You understand now? Now these are very serious things I told you. There are also other things. Some of you may observe that you are becoming slave of your smartphone. That is also possible or not? Hmm? That means you see that day in and day out you keep on doing this the smartphone. No? Like this, keep on watching this, that, this, that. A lot of time goes in that. You've seen that? Huh? And a lot of messages come, you keep sending messages. Time goes away. Hours and hours goes away. Sitting with smartphone. How many of you experience that smartphone can kill our time? I don't know, say all of us agree. Yes, smartphone can kill our time provided you allow it to kill your time. What if you make a decision that morning maybe 1 hour, 2 hours, and evening 1 hour, 2 hours I will use smartphone. Other times I will keep it in my cupboard and lock it. Only for educational purpose I will use it. Then smartphone has become your servant. Correct, no? So you should become smartphone servant or smartphone should become your servant. See, if smartphone becomes your servant, it is wonderful, correct, no? Then you use it well. But most people cannot do that. They become slaves. Hmm. Similarly, you will find that boys can become slave of a woman also sometimes. You find that they become attracted to woman and they become a slave in their mind. But then she will get first rank in computer science and go abroad. And they'll be still here failing in the exams. There was one IIT boy, 7 years he failed and he got the NFT, not fit for technical education. But the girl whom he was after, she went abroad to a big university. So that means he became a slave, correct now? So don't become controlled by the mind like this. You see how he is controlled by the mind. This is the mind controlling this fellow. Don't become controlled when you control the mind. Okay, can somebody give me an idea? How do you control the mind? Yes? Meditation, he says. Like that gentleman was sitting calmly meditating. Okay? Anybody else? Anything else? Yes? He is saying you can delay the mind. You can tell the mind, good idea, not now, later. But later initially mind will say, please, please, it will ask you. And if you delay it, I have already waited for a long time, mind will say. And then you tell him, please wait for some more. Some more? How long? Tell me. Then you tell the mind, wait for some more time. Hey, are you going to give me or not? Mind will ask you. And then when you say, no, wait for some more time, mind will just catch you by the neck and push you. Baladiva niyojita. Krishna says that. Arjuna says that. What is that verse? Anichanna pivarshneya baladiva niyojita. He says that. He says, how is it, Krishna, that as if somebody catches me by the neck and pushes me to do some wrong thing, like that my mind is pushing me, he says. So it's not that you can tell the mind to postpone. The problem with the mind is impure. Mind has lust, anger and greed. 3 gateways to hell. Trividam narakasyedam dwaram nashanamatmanaha kama krodhas tata lobhas tasmat etatrayam tyajet. Krishna is saying. Give up these 3 gateways to hell. Lust, anger and greed. Lag, L-A-G. This is what makes you lag in life. You are not able to lead in life. Because this lust, anger, greed makes us lag. So these are the impurities in our mind. So if you remove these impurities, then you can bring the mind under control. Then mind will be like a balloon without air. It has no power. But now these 3 things have occupied the mind. The mind is very tenacious and very difficult to control. It's very, very difficult. It's like a mad elephant. Mad elephant, you can't control it. It can lift scooters and throw it. It can kill people also. But if mind is tamed very well, then mind can be like a good elephant. A good elephant can give you ashirvad. It can take money from your hands. It can take you on its back. And so many good things. It can lift logs of wood for you. So many good things it can do. So mind can be controlled by chanting mantra, we call it. Man means mind. Tra means freedom. Mantra means it gives you freedom from slavery to the mind. It gives the freedom from especially lust, anger and greed. It can clean up. Just like you see the Vicks vapor, if you apply in the chest, they show an advertisement you've seen, something is doing some problem inside, correct? No? After apply the Vicks vapor, what happens? Is gone. Then he becomes healthy. Similarly, in our mind is what? Lust, anger and greed. You apply Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. And the kitch will be gone. You keep doing it. That is a secret. Yeah. See, our mind, if it is good, it can be used like a good knife by a surgeon to save a dying man. Or the knife can be used by a thief to strangle somebody and kill. Isn't it? Yeah. Isn't it? Yeah. Mind can do both activities. Therefore, uncontrolled mind has a lot of problems. You see, these are all seen in society nowadays, modern day society. These problems are observable, correct? No? And the result is this. See the results. When people are having uncontrolled mind, what all things happen, you can see that. You see? So, I have 12 solutions which are given in the book elaborately, each of this. Expectation, already I told you something. Correct, no? This success definition is very, very important. You see, one UPSC boy studying for the UPSC was telling me, he got passed in the first, what do you call it, first level? Prelims, yeah. He got selected in prelims now. So he told that something like, 10 lakh people appear. In that only 10,000 people get selected. So he was one of them who is selected now. He's still studying now for the next level. The next level, he said, in that 10,000, they will take only some 200 or something like that. 200, 300 only they will take. Very small number it is. After that, they'll be posted. He was selling. So you can imagine the competition level is very high, correct now? Similarly, if you take CAT exam or GATE exam and all, lakhs of people appear and then a few people are selected. But even those who are not selected also, they studied for the exam. Is it a waste? That knowledge always is going to be with them. Like, for example, say you studied for GRE, you couldn't go abroad. The same vocabs will be helpful for you to study for CAT and you can get into IIM. Correct, no? It's never a waste. So, therefore, when you talk about success in life, sometimes you will see that you made an effort, you learned some good things in life, but you couldn't crack the exam. Take it easy. Think that, okay, I'll take another direction in life. Always you should keep if you have A plan, you should make a B plan also. And you should make a C plan, D plan also. Okay, if A doesn't work, I'll go for B. B doesn't work, I'll go for C. If C doesn't work, I'll go for D. What loss is there? Because if I'm not destined to get A, I'll go for B. What's the problem? Why don't you take it light instead of becoming bogged down? Oh, I couldn't crack the exam. I'm useless. I'm good for nothing. My hope is finished now. Some boys actually, after the competitive exam, the fail comes. Next 6 months, they don't do anything. They just go to some movies, play cricket, because they think there is no hope for me. Therefore, success definition is very important thing. What do you consider success? There is a saying in English, the success is not in the trophy won, but it is in the race run, it is said. See, if India gets a chance to participate in World Cup, that itself is a success because they got a chance to participate, even if they don't get a gold medal, correct now? Like that, you can think that at least I could study for the exam and appear, I became a better individual now. I'm more equipped, I'm more skilled now. And I've learned what are the mistakes I committed. Now, next time I'll do better. And go on with life. Don't take stress in the mind. Unhealthy comparison means when you see people better than you, you feel jittery. Oh, I can't do what this fellow can do. And if you see people below you, you ridicule them. That is called unhealthy comparison. Actually, you should make a healthy comparison. If you see people better than you, you go and take their help. If you see people inferior to you, you help them. That is actually a good comparison. Correct, no? Actually, students do this a lot. Like sometimes a boy goes to his friend and asks, hey, out of 8 units, how many you finished? You may say, I have finished 2. Only 2. Exam is coming in 3 days. That boy told me he has finished 7. And then you get tense. Really? My friend has finished 7, I have finished only 2. He puts you in tension and goes away. And he also takes tension. These are all examples of unhealthy comparison. So you will never find a squirrel comparing himself with a giraffe. Hey, giraffe, look at you, how big you are. He doesn't say that. Nor does the giraffe say, hey, look at you, squirrel, how tiny you are. He doesn't say that. They are all happy in their own place. So you need self-esteem for this. In Rig Veda, there is one little story. One squirrel came out of a mountain and he heard a loud laughter sound. He turned behind and saw the mountain with carrying all the forest was laughing and saying, hey, look at you, squirrel, how tiny you are. And look at me, I'm carrying the forest on my back. Don't you see how ridiculous your size is? And the squirrel told him, I agree, sir. You are very great in carrying huge weight on your back, but you can't crack the nut which I can crack. That was his confidence. So this story is told for self-confidence. So what do we learn from this? Every one of you sitting here, you have some talent in you, which is God's gift for you, which you may possess in profuse proportion. Some of you may have musical talent. Some of you may have mathematical talent. Some of you may have interpersonal talent. If you have interpersonal talent, you may become a very good marketing man. If you have intrapersonal, you may be a good thinker. You can join R&D, like that. If you're bodily kinesthetic, you may be a good sportsman. So many of us don't know our own hidden potential and we keep on comparing ourselves with other people and feel insecure. Unhealthy comparison. That should be given up. So this is called a situational leadership, we call it. Like a tortoise is a hero in water or land? In water. And the rabbit is hero in land or water? So that's called situational leadership. So you are also a hero in some field. You have to find out. That's called as varna, we call it. Psychophysical nature. Once you find it, like, when I was in my school days, in my 5th standard, our teacher asked all the students, what do you want to become? Somebody said engineer, somebody said doctor, somebody said art accountant. Asked me, I said brahmachari, I said. So madam was shocked. She said, what? Say something else, she said. Then I said, maybe sannyasi, I said. She couldn't believe. Then she complained to my father and said, see, your son is too naughty. Huh? No, take care of your son. He's a small boy, he's thinking of such things. Huh? Said, but my father was a very kind man. He never hesitated to give me spiritual books. I told my father also, in my 7th standard, I packed my luggage. I wanted to join one mission. I was planning to go. But my father didn't let me. So at that time, my thought process was like this. I want to study Bhagavad Gita, learn it thoroughly, and I want to teach it to the world also. Teach it to other people of the world. It will be a great service to all humanity. Why should we just be like everybody else? Just, study, get place, earn money, put up a family, go abroad, make more money, and come back. Eat, sleep, mate, and defend, and die one day. Everybody does it. Dare to be different. Why don't you dare to be different? Do something like the trees are giving fruits freely, river is giving water freely, cows are giving milk freely, sun is giving sunlight freely. Is it not true? Everybody is doing so much paropakar. Why don't we also do some paropakar? That was my thought process. But why I'm telling you this was my inner desire. But as I grew up by Krishna's grace and Guru's grace, I got to be a brahmachari. 94, I joined this society. And as I proceed, day after day after day, my consciousness is blossoming and becoming more happier and more satisfied and more joyful in this. Why I'm telling you, if you do what is natural for you, you will never have to work a day in your life. No, you will never have to work. Today, this is the 6th program I am giving today. From morning, there was program after program. On a Saturday and Sunday, we have programs like this. But this subject of, scripture is like Amritam. It is such a deep knowledge, you will never get it in colleges. Colleges actually gives you dead knowledge about Jada Vidya, dead matter only. They don't tell you, have you ever heard in the college, just do your best and leave the rest to God? You will not hear that. This knowledge, the spiritual knowledge, can give confidence, stability, inner joy to all the practitioners. Here, that is one of the reasons why colleges are also nowadays calling ISKCON, like SRM University is inviting us to give some courses inside the college. So they are also finding that they are not able to give answers to the questions of the students. They are struggling because they don't have answers. They only study about the 8 material elements. You study solid mechanics and about the solids or theory of machines. About liquid, what do you study? Hydraulics, machinery, fluid machinery and all. But gases, what do you study? Turbo machinery. About fire, you study heat and mass transfer. About space and ether, you study acoustic physics. About mind, intelligence, ego, you study in psychology, psychiatry. Beyond that, they have nothing. Beyond these 8 elements. But Atma is beyond the 8 elements. Atma Tattvam, self-realization. And beyond Atma, there is Paramatma. Where will you get knowledge? You will get only in Bhagavad Gita. You will get. So therefore, once you learn Bhagavad Gita, you will never compare yourself with others. In fact, you should compare yourself with yourself. That means, you should think that, okay, last semester I got 7.5 grade. Now I will try to improve to 8 grade. Don't look at others. Hey, how much you got? Don't ask. If you are eating prasadam, should you see your plate or others' plate? Because you are going to eat your plate, he is going to eat his plate. Why do you bother about other plate? Like if you are going to doctor, you should go and show your problem to doctor. Not ask about others' problems and laugh at others' problems, correct now? Because you don't have their record with you. Let them go to doctor and express, you go to doctor and express. Don't compare unnecessarily and waste your life. Appreciate God's gifts, grace coming in your life. You've got 2 eyes, 2 hands, 2 legs. You've got birth in a good family. Be grateful. And you got Krishna consciousness. You're getting good friendships. You got into engineering or medical or whatever. Something you got into a good college. So be grateful for all these gifts. There are people who eat food only once in 3 days. You know that? And we eat food 3 times in 1 day. Correct now? So should we not be grateful for this? God has given us birth in a good family. Many people actually don't count the blessings that God has given. They always keep thinking what I don't have. Why don't you think what you have? And why don't you ask what I am doing with what I have? No? First of all, you should think about what you have. Then you should also think about how well I am utilizing what I have. What I got. How many of you think we are not thinking enough about it? Correct? We are not thinking enough about what God has given us. We only keep on thinking what I don't have. And that's what causes us stress unnecessarily. Mm. Yeah. Oh, this is people's comments is something that creates a lot of trouble. Like one time, father and son purchased a donkey from the market. They were walking. And some people said, hey, look at these fools. They purchased a donkey and both are going walking with the donkey. What's the use of the donkey unless you utilize it, they said. Then the son told the father, Papa, you are old, use it. I'll come walking. And the father sat. And some people commented and said, hey, look at this cruel father. Poor son is walking and he is sitting comfortably. Then the father got down and put the son on the donkey's back. And some people laughed at father and said, look at this foolish man. He purchased a donkey, just putting his son. And he's an old man walking. His father thought, let me also sit. So both of them sat on the back of the donkey. Some people said, how cruel are they to this poor donkey? How can he carry weight of two people? And the father thought, oh, we shouldn't be too cruel. Then he told the son, Beta, you catch front two legs, I'll catch back two legs. They lifted the donkey on the shoulder and they were walking. Some people laughed and said, hey, purchased a donkey for lifting over your shoulders. Ha ha ha, they laughed. Father and son got so fed up, they threw the donkey in a river. So, if you are going to bother too much about what people talk about you in this world, you will be the most miserable man. But you should bother about what your parents are thinking about you, what your teachers are thinking about you, what God is thinking about you. That is important for you, correct? No? Parents will always say, beta, improve karo, study well, get better marks, And also God is watching you. So if you're doing your best, be happy. Don't get bogged by what other people talk. Always people will talk so many things about you. How much do they know about you? You know about your personality, your life and everything. God knows about you. Nobody else knows about you. Then why do you bother about people's comments who don't know about you? Don't take it seriously. Like, one cinema actress, her fans told her that your nose is little big. So she performed some 12 plastic surgeries in order to please them. After that, she said, am I all right? They said, you look the same only. They said, no improvement at all. So she got very frustrated. You will see in this world, you cannot satisfy the people around you. But you have to think about whether I am acting in line with God. If God is satisfied, if superiors are satisfied, to whom you are accountable. That's all you have to do. Don't unnecessarily empathize with others' nature. Different people have different swabhava. How many of you have friends who are little strong in nature? They speak little harshly. You have friends. Okay. How many of you have friends who speak very softly? Yeah. So both types of people. So how many of you clearly know whose swabhava is what? You know that. Over a period of time, you know. Swabhava means their nature. So once you know their nature, don't expect them to be different. No. They are what? They are. They're born with that nature. Imagine you catch these two friends. You get a strong friend and a soft friend. Say, a strong friend, you tell him, अरे थोड़ा इसके समान थोड़ा soft बनो. देखो कितना अच्छा है. कैसे मीठे मीठे बात करता तुम भी ऐसे ही करो. क्या बदल सकता है? Will he change? Cannot change. Or the soft friend is very timid. You tell him, hey, be bold like him. Can he change? They can change, but it's not very easy for people to change their natures. You just learn to accept people's nature. So if you are not going to understand the nature of people and stand in their shoes and see, because some people are what they are, you can't change them much. But if you are going to too much trying to change others around you, you will be the frustrated man. They will not change. They are just like you see, the dog's tail is like this. You put it inside a pipe like this, 12 years, and then take it out. Again, again it will be like that only. People don't change very easily. So therefore, Gandhi said, "You be the change. What you want to see in others." He said, "If you want to bring about some good in the world, you be the change." Like now, I am sharing many things with all of you. But ultimately, it is your choice how much you want to take Bhagavad Gita seriously, how much you have to take the chanting seriously. It's whose choice? Your choice. I can't become too frustrated because we will try to give the good to the people of the world. But taking it is whose choice? Their choice. Similarly, while living in this world, Understand that everybody has a free will. Huh? Like, how many of your parents you feel are too much worried about you? Good number of you, correct? No? Yeah. Now I tell the parents, see, from the age of 5 to 15, the boy was completely under your control. And you could train him, right? One mother came to me with his son. His son is now joining college now. Radheshyam Prabhu, please tell my son, to be obedient to us and to cooperate with us and regularly phone us and become a devotee, chant Hare Krishna. I told, see Mataji, you have given him 10 years of training, 5 to 15. Now the boy is more interested in peer association. And he may not much listen to parents. Allow him to be what he is and give him good sangha of devotees, like that I told her. So, but the mother couldn't immediately digest it. Then I told her to buy a book and read the book on art of parenting. Many parents are worried that my son will go in the wrong path. Correct, no? He may smoke or drink or get spoiled like that. But actually, you will see that we all can try to, like you can teach the good thing and provide the facility for becoming good. Ultimately, you have to leave it. You can't totally change a person. Empathize with other people's nature, then you will not be stressed. Too much trying to mold others to your ways, that will cause you frustration. Mm. See the sunny side of people. See the brighter side of people. Don't see the negative side of people. That will keep you happy also. Train journey means, and train journey people, one by one people get down. Similarly, life is temporary. Uh, Even if you have some deficiencies in this life, say somebody has a polio leg or hand, or somebody has ugly face, or somebody has a bad pigment of skin color, or somebody is a poor academic performer. These are all not going to last for all time. This one body is over, you'll get replacement body, one more body you'll get. At the time of death, the change of body is like change of dress, Krishna says. Correct, no? So don't get too much stressed by things in this life. So I am not going to tell you the further things. These things are there in the book. If any of you are interested, you can go through the book. And it will take some time to explain these things. See, each of this is explained with pictures like this. Yeah. This crabs, huh? They always try to pull others. You scratch my back, I scratch your back. Everybody is doing this in this world, What others think about me. This fellow is a cool fellow, isn't it? He's unaffected by the environment. See, those who can empathize are people who have a very good listening nature. Look at this fellow, very good listener. Huh? Yeah, sorry. Yeah, appreciate the brighter side of people and be cheerful. Don't talk ill of people. Huh? Yeah. In train journey, see, one by one people get down. So one is gone, another one is also gone. So you'll find in this way, past, present, future, those are stuck in it. Ego should be given. I was the first one to put this idea. Nobody else can do this work. I am indispensable and things like that. Acting with false ego. Huh? Stress to impress is one of the things that causes the greatest stress. Huh? Trying to impress the people in the world. Okay. Don't suppress, don't express, sublimate. You will see how it is to be done. You will see that by chanting and meditation. Okay, these are 12 items called. This will take time to explain fully all 12 of them. Huh? So you can see the book. This is the next six. Huh? So it's escape stress. See sunny side. Each of it is elaborated in the book. You will see that. Hmm? This I could explain it fully. Huh? But the second part I couldn't explain. Thank you. Shri Prabhupada ki. So you can see this website also, leadersvoiceindia.com, and you can also, if you have any questions, you can write now. There is no time. We will only do Kirtan. 5 minutes, one question I can take. If anybody has one question, anybody behind, yeah, please give. That. These are our own devotees. You can let them give the mic behind.
Hello. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji,
Hare
you
Krishna.
said that we should have second option, like we should have plan B, C for our life. But doesn't it make us less focused when we have too many plans? Should we have only one plan for life?
Say you have only one plan, and in case that doesn't work out, then what? Then what will be your further course of action if you have only one? Even if you don't want to have B, C, D, E, F, G, and many, at least two plans you should have. I will try this. If this doesn't work, I'll try this. See, you should see a smaller picture and larger picture in life. The academic success is a smaller picture. But larger picture means this material world is like a seashore where you make sandcastles, which can be washed away by the sand, by the ocean waves. But is your relationship with the ocean waves and the bank of the ocean, or your relationship is with the parents? With whom? Your relationship is with parents, like your parents are taking a boy, he is playing in the seashore. When it gets dark, parents call him, better come now. He leaves it behind and goes with parents. He just dusts his hands and goes like that. Similarly, we all have come in this world. How long we live? The 60, 20, 30, 40 years down the line, your bodies will get old and then you leave the body, correct now? So, see a larger picture. The larger picture is, I don't belong to this world. This world is a foreign place for me. I belong to spiritual world. I am actually living with God, always living with Krishna, happily. But somehow I have fallen into this world. I have to clean my heart of lust, anger, greed, and everything, and go back to Him. That's the goal of life. But before I can attain that ultimate goal, in this world also I have the life. Say, from your time of birth up to 70 or 80 or 90 years. In that, you try to be as successful as possible, by making a plan, executing the plan. If the plan didn't work, also not a big problem. You can always have an alternative plan. Because this one life is a temporary life. It's like a flash of light in the time span of universe, if you see. This is a short life. It's not a very big life. And this is not the only life. We keep taking body after body after body, multiple bodies. Even if you succeed also, where is Napoleon Bonaparte now? Where is Hitler? Where is Alexander the Great? All those fellows. Big fellows, they came, they did a lot of tamasha and they went away. You will see that. See, in Maharashtra, there is one fort. In Rajgarh, there is one fort, which is as big as this hall. Big, thick walls made of stone. Tall walls and everything. In those days, when Mughals were in India, there was a big fight between the kings to occupy that fort. You know. But now, who is living in the fort? Only bats are flying inside. Many kings fought, they killed one another, and they all are gone now. The next bodies. That's the nature of this world. Everything is temporary. We don't have to worry too much about material achievements. At the same time, I won't say that you ignore your academics, ignore your material life. Simply always be with God. I won't say that because I know that you all are students, you're studying in a college, you have many dreams, ambitions. At the same time, don't get stuck in small dreams. Understand that there is a bigger picture of life also. So there is a bigger picture of life, but in smaller picture of life, you can have A plan, B plan, C plan, whatever works. I'll tell you a simple example. Say you try for IIT JEE first, it's very tough. Then you try for CET. Okay, that also doesn't work. Then you may consider going for MSc in physics, or MSc in some science. One may do that. One may try something like that. Or nowadays, somebody tries for BBA and then they go to MBA. Correct? No, there are various, or MCA also. People go for that. Various alternatives. But if one says no, this is the only thing I have. I cannot go for anything else. Or everything else is ruled out. That is where you get bogged down. Correct? No? If that one thing you couldn't make it, then what? Then are you going to become depressed? Are you going to become a mental patient? That's not very good. Because academics is a small part of your life. Apart from academics, your sports, your entertainment, You have prayer to God, your relationship with parents, so many other aspects of life also. Then why do you think academics is the only aspect of life? People commit suicide because they think academics is everything. They think it's not everything, it's one aspect of life. And the biggest true aspect of life is relationship with God, which is a reality that people have forgotten. And they're taking small aspect of life and they're making it everything. At the same time, to not lose focus, what Lord Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita also, you should put one step and then lift your leg and put the next step. And after putting that step firmly, then only you should lift the leg and put the next step. In the same manner, you don't think of plan B or C when you are working on plan A. You should make your effort as if you are going to succeed in that. And if you didn't succeed, then one can think of alternatives. Correct, no? So actually, by studying Bhagavad Gita and chanting the holy name Hare Krishna, you become more mature to learn to deal with the several challenges that life throws on you. Arjuna had the greatest challenge in the battlefield. He was weeping in the beginning, but hearing Gita, he got so much confidence and he fought the battle and emerged victorious also. Krishna taught him to face all kinds of ups and downs in life. So thank you all very much for your patient attention. And this is a very vast subject, but if you have the copy of the book with you, you can learn more. Many more things I have given, point-wise bullet points I have given what you can do in your life in the book. There are many physical like exercises and many things are also given there. And I have given 2-3 dramas also, skits also are given. Reading them would help you more. So you can pick up a copy if you are interested, okay? Shri Prabhupada ki. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. मेरा व्हाइट बोर्ड रहता है वहाँ पे एक Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Start getting 2 minutes. You get after that.
Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya, Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya, Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya, Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Jai Govinda, Jai Gopal, Jai Govinda, Jai Gopal, Kesava Madhava Dina Dayal, Govinda, Govinda, Gopal Nandalal, Govinda, Govinda, Gopal Nandalal, Govinda, Govinda, Gopal Nandalal, Govinda, Gopal Nandalal. Jaya Jaya Radhe, Jaya Jaya Shyam, Jaya Jaya Radhe, Jaya Jaya Shyam. जय जय श्री वृंदावन धाम,
जय श्री वृंदावन धाम।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे,
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरि बोल गौर हरि बोल,
हरि बोल गौर हरि बोल।
हरि बोल गौर हरि बोल,
हरि बोल गौर हरि बोल।
प्रभुपाद तिल प्रभुपाद,
प्रभुपाद श्रील प्रभुपाद।
प्रभुपाद तिल प्रभुपाद,
प्रभुपाद श्रील प्रभुपाद।
गुरुदेव श्रील गुरुदेव,
गुरुदेव गुरुदेव।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे,
हरे राम
राम हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे।
हे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे,
हरे
हरे राम
हरे राम
राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Jaya Jaya Radhe, Jaya Jaya Shyam, Jaya Jaya Sri Vrindavan Ram.
Jaya Jaya Radhe, Jaya Jaya Shyam, Jaya Jaya Sri Vrindavan Ram.
Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Vrindavan Ram. Jaya Jagannath Swami, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra.
Jai Jagannath Swami, Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladeva, Jai Subhadra.
Govinda Hari Govinda, Venkatramana Govinda, Srinivasa Govinda, Sri Venkatesa Govinda.
Hari Govinda, Srinivasa Govinda, Govinda Govinda, Srinivasa Govinda.
Govinda Hari Govinda, Govinda Hari Govinda, Govinda Hari Govinda, Govinda Hari Govinda.
Govinda Hari Govinda, Govinda Hari Govinda, Govinda Hari Govinda, Govinda Hari Govinda.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Mancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti vaishnava vrinda ki, Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra ki, Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Srinivas Padmavati Balaji ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Kaliyuga Pavana Harinama Sankirtan ki, Nitai Gaura Premanande. This type of Sankirtan, singing and dancing was instituted by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 500 years ago when he appeared in Bengal, all over the country. He said it is the nature of the soul to dance to the tune of Krishna's holy names. And by performing this dance for the pleasure of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna, we get purified and we get elevated, and it brings us to the most natural, original state of the soul in the spiritual world. So thank you all for your enthusiastic participation. Right. Prabhupada.